finally, I have come back to Wrestling Rundown. And my phone rang. What's up, everybody? Alright, I've got Gary with me. Take a seat.
Don't feel like it.
Okay, well, he's gonna stand. And we are back for another episode of Wrestling Rundown. Excuse me for a minute while I answer this text.
He cannot prepare a show to save his life, people. Please excuse him for that.
Hey, I'm pretty prepared for this shit.
You have the background music set up?
Yes, I do.
You got your notes?
Yes, I do.
Did you turn off your phone?
Yes, I do. Wait, no, I didn't. He beat it.
Too easy, people.
Ha! Now it's off. Suck that. Please disregard that last comment. Alright, starting off. Where the fuck did I put those things? Wow.
Like I said, he can't prepare his
there they
shit.
No, because I thought I lost my paper. Like part one of my notes. But I didn't. I know that was stupid. Alright, here we go. Alright, first up on our show is what happened before Raw went on air on Monday, which was the Titantron setting on fire.
Alright, here's what happened. They were firing off their pyrotechnics test.
For a test.
And obviously something went wrong here, and it caught fire. So, pretty much the entire show we went without our beloved pyrotechnics as our favorite superstars came out. Shame, but hey, it happens.
Yeah, and pushed the openings of the doors back about an hour, and the people only had a half an hour to sit down and be prepared. So, I mean, nonetheless, Raw did go on air at 8 o'clock.
Of course.
And what happened at 8 o'clock is CM Punk came out and opened the show. Well, he starts off by explaining that last week what he did to The Rock was his Raw moment. He says how people have the WrestleMania moments, he had his Raw moment. So,
for those who pay attention to the whole face-heel aspect of wrestling, it's pretty much a safe bet to say that Punk is currently neutral, but he's leaning towards more heel in his actions.
Yes, but with that, it's simply he's slowly becoming heel. Not neutral, but
I'd say neutral for the time being, because he's not really taking sides with the whole Cena show bit.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you can definitely tell by the way he wants to be in the spotlight and everything. With CM Punk, I'm still gonna watch him if he's heel. I mean,
Punk is Punk.
He's good at what he does.
He puts up a good show regardless. So it's just his actions just won't be as agreeable as what they used to be.
Now, he does confront Jerry Lawler before you start off.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I had to. And I got slapped. He confronts Jerry Lawler because at the end of the show last week, Lawler says CM Punk has turned his back on the WWE Universe. And apparently, Punk totally disagrees with this statement. And, he pretty much blames The Rock for this stuff, calling him a phony and everything like that. And then the Big Show comes out.
Now, here's where things start to get interesting. Show claims that he was the one who really took the spotlight, because if it wasn't for him, Cena would won the title from Punk, and Punk would be pretty much falling from grace from there on. And this is where things start to get interesting, because this is going to be a clash of viewpoints. Yes, Show did prevent Cena from getting a good STF on Punk, but we don't know whether or not Punk could manage to break out of it, because, let's face it, in the past, he's done it before. Hell, he was able to take a STF and turn it into an anaconda virus. So, we have really no idea what could have happened. So, from there, he's pretty much, apparently Jason has to take something. Anyway, looks like I'm taking over. Okay, so Show says that it was pretty much all about him, and yeah. So then Cena comes out, starts attacking Show, and then Show retreats a bit. AJ comes out, says, alright, here's how things are gonna go down. And she declares that the main event is going to be a one-fall match between Cena and Show. And that's for a #1 competitor spot for the title at SummerSlam. And then it went to commercial from there, I believe. Next thing was a Santino Del Rio match. Del Rio had to come out the old-fashioned way due to the fire, so he couldn't come out with his car. And pretty much from the start, Del Rio's in control. Yeah, I can let him take over from here.
Where did we leave off?
Del Rio in control.
Okay, well, yes. The Del Rio match. Of course, what was the case of Santino Marella,
yes.
right? Yeah. I'm not, remembering things with my notes right now. Alright, so, yeah, control goes to Del Rio, and then switches back to Santino. I mean, it's pretty much a power switch throughout the match. But then Del Rio locks in his armbar thing and wins the match. And then Del Rio comes out with the announcement that he's not competing until SummerSlam. We will later find out why this is not true. Next comes Brodus Clay. He comes on the show, starts dancing, and then in the middle of his dance, Vicky comes out with her stupid
Queen of Divas and the excuse me shit.
Yes. But then Vicky starts dancing. I just got scared.
He's emotionally scarred, people. You're gonna have to bear with this for a second.
That was something I didn't want to see. Are you kidding me? That thing dancing? That's just painful beyond all hell. But then Sandow interrupts, so I was kind of okay with it, but not happy to see him at all, because I don't like him. Nobody does. He's just a...
We were only thankful that he came in because it stopped dancing.
But then he attacked Brodus Clay, and Brodus Clay couldn't put up a defense because Sandow attacked his leg, yada yada, and all hell was down from there. Next, we go backstage again for like the third friggin' time since the night started, with Daniel Bryan standing outside the general manager AJ's locker room. Well, office, I guess. Well, he finally decides to confront her. She pretty much puts him in his place and makes him put it into a match versus Sheamus. And he goes, is it for the championship? Nope. So then she releases a Twitter poll, or a poll for the WWE Universe, in which kind of match that they would like to see between Sheamus and D-Bry.
The choices were no holds barred, street fight,
or falls count anywhere. Well, the WWE Universe voted, and they voted for a street fight.
And it was overwhelming.
Like, brutal beyond all friggin' hell.
I was talking about the vote. 72%, I believe, was the total amount for the vote for a street fight. So obviously, you people love to see Daniel Bryan getting your crap getting kicked out of him. So,
which was fun. So Bryan comes out and he starts bitching. He's like, I don't want the WWE Universe to say to chant yes anymore. That's my thing. Yada yada yada. But of course, the WWE Universe ain't gonna listen to him. So
let's face it, they don't really listen to any wrestler.
No, yeah, they do.
They really do what they want, though.
Yeah, well, they're the show, obviously.
Not even The Rock could really control them.
True. Okay, so in the start of the match, Sheamus is just dominating, and then they take the fight outside the ring, and Sheamus brings Daniel Bryan up towards the entrance stage, part of the stage, and just backdrops him on the steel. Oh my god, that was painful. Then we go into commercial break, where the control is turned around to Daniel Bryan, but nonetheless, Sheamus does regain control again. He goes outside the ring, grabs a steel chair and a kendo stick. I haven't seen a kendo stick out there in a while.
What are you talking about? Kendo sticks have been pretty popular lately.
I haven't seen them out lately.
Check the past few pay-per-views. They've been out.
Well, they've been out, but not used as much.
Are you forgetting the street fight between Punk and Jericho already? That kendo stick was used so much.
Punk and Jericho?
Yeah, it was used so much that it broke.
You mean Punk and D-Bry?
No, the street fight between Punk and Jericho.
When the fuck was this?
Oh my god. I believe it was...
Oh yeah.
It was either No Way Out or Extreme Rules.
No, the kendo stick was used at
It was
between Punk and Daniel Bryan because AJ stepped on it and stopped
I'm talking even before then, dude. When Punk and Jericho had their giant ass rivalry about best in the world.
Oh. Well, nonetheless, they're not
in the pay-per-view. They used that kendo stick so much that it broke. It came apart.
Yes, I know, but as of late, I have not seen the kendo stick really becoming a choice weapon.
Well, it's becoming more and more popular, so...
Anyway, back to this. Daniel Bryan grabs the kendo stick and just wails Sheamus with it. And then he goes back outside the ring and grabs the... and sets up the... oh no, never mind, he's in the ring. And he sets up the steel chair on the turnbuckle and sends Sheamus right into it. And then he goes outside the ring and grabs the steel steps, which are used for the bro kick. And that ended the match. And Sheamus won. You're next. Oh, no. Wait, this is 6B. Okay, then after the match, Kofi Kingston comes out with R-Truth and confronts D-Bry. Pretty much the segment in the ring was D-Bry talking to little Jimmy, as R-Truth likes to call him, I guess, and pretends he kicks him in the face.
Out of the ring.
R-Truth just runs out of the ring and grabs little Jimmy, which pissed me off because I love little Jimmy.
Anyway, so what happens from there is guys in white suits come walking out. Now,
the same guys from the wedding.
Apparently, according to AJ. And they are starting to go towards R-Truth, and things are looking pretty grim. However, AJ comes out and she goes, that's not the one you're supposed to be, you should be focusing on. The man in the ring, that's the one you want to focus on. They take Daniel Bryan out and backstage. So, that's pretty much done from there. And he's texting again. He did not turn it off, people.
Take the next one real quick. Start family, you know,
Alright.
situation.
Alright, so then the next match is Kofi versus Titus O'Neil. Pretty much, it's common. It's pretty much the usual play of Titus and whatever.
His partner?
Yeah.
Darren Young.
Yeah, Darren Young. There we go. We don't even care enough to even remember their names. No, says a lot. Anyway, so usual plays. Towards the end, distraction tactics, and the guy of All World Promotions even comes in. I remember him screaming "Your mother" and hitting Kofi with his shoe. So Kofi throws his shoe back at him, and then Titus comes in with one of his moves and wins the match. So, rather disappointing, really, but what can you do? Alright.
One more thing I gotta add to that. AW screams in the middle of the match. He goes, he's faster than Kobe Bryant in a Colorado hotel room. He's unstoppable, something like that it was, which was more or less racist or something like that, but it was pretty bad. It was talking about a rape case in 2003 with Kobe Bryant, and you see Raw come back on the air and Michael Cole apologizing for that comment. Alright, so
I call this next one.
Go ahead.
Heath Slater. Okay, he's coming out and he's going, yeah, so all the legends came and kicked my ass. So what? I dare any current WWE superstar to come in here and try to beat me. And we see the return of Randy Orton. Let's face it, people, Slater had this coming to him. He's boasting way too much, and the Vipers come to strike. Pretty good minor snack to get the Vipers' appetite and back focused on to the championship title.
After 2 months absence. Speaking of Randy Orton, he is starring in an upcoming straight-to-DVD release. That's how WWE's been with their movies lately. He's starring in a 12-round sequel. The movie 12 Rounds, which was originally done by John Cena, is now going to have a sequel done by Randy Orton. We'll see how this goes. And take it away.
Alright, you can do it. Well, alright. Actually, yeah, I forgot. Okay, obviously, Randy wins. But, of course, we always have to see his patent move, the RKO. He pretty much performed that, and then it was pretty much done. Let's face it, it's Randy Orton, and it's Heath Slater. You could really see it coming.
Alright. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. Oh, no, I'm in the right spot. It was Jericho and Christian versus Dolph Ziggler and The Miz. Ziggler wins, so... Did I just say Ziggler wins? Wow, I'm an idiot. Jericho wins the match. I mean, it was pretty much back and forth control through the match between all the superstars. But in the end, Jericho cheap shots Ziggler and pins The Miz for the win. You're next, buddy.
Yeah. Alright. We go backstage. We see Daniel Bryan in a small room with a mental doctor. And throughout the show, there have been more and more of these backstage segments of Daniel Bryan taking these various mental health quizzes and all that tests, yeah.
It was funny because the one that he took in a previous segment backstage, it was
the ink blots.
The ink blots.
3 pictures, and when the doc put them all down on the table, it formed the picture of a goat.
A goat face!
Yes.
More or less what Daniel Bryan is known around the WWE for.
And Daniel Bryan went off about freaking Charlie Sheen setting it up and all this stuff.
He's on Charlie, are you here? Yada yada.
I'm winning, you're not, and all this other crap. So, anyway,
In the end,
the doc says that he's sane and leaves the room. Daniel Bryan pretty much, and she goes, I knew I was sane. Then Kane comes in. The lights go red, and he goes, hello, O'Brien, I'm your anger management therapist. Then he throws him into
a couple of walls.
Then onto the table. Then leaves. All in all, very funny part. Alright, you can take it away from here.
That was probably the most funniest segment I've ever seen. The next came Tyson Kidd and Tensai. Tensai, totally irrelevant at this point. I mean, ever since John Cena beat him, he's become nothing. I mean, he even sent out a tout the other, last week, which was, the most racist tout ever. He's pretty much with his, worshiper Sakamoto in a car. And he says something like, open your eyes, Japanese people need to learn how to drive or something. And I don't remember the exact tout, but it was pretty bad. But like I said, he's pretty much irrelevant at this point. He keeps losing. And Kid wins by the disqualification. Wasn't that a reverse decision? Or was that
yeah, it was a reverse decision. What happened was Tensai won, but then Tensai wouldn't stop wailing on Kid. So then the judge, or the ref, pretty much reversed his decision. So,
and Kid won by DQ. And now, yeah, I know that I must have. We are right here.
Alright, people. Well, main event time. Hey, the show versus Cena. Pretty much what happens is, Show throws Cena into Punk at the commentator's table. And after that, it's back and forth. Finally, Cena is setting up for the attitude adjustment. And Big Show is about to take it when Punk interferes. And
the reason Punk interferes is they were fighting outside of the ring for a few minutes, and Big Show just wailed John Cena across the announce table into CM Punk. Oh, did you?
Yes.
Was I paying attention?
No, you were not.
Oh. Never mind.
Somebody needs some coffee. Anyway. So, pretty much what happens is Punk, more or less what happened was, Punk had kicked Cena's legs out from under him, then did a high kick to Show. And then he took a mic saying that there was no winner. So he walks out of the ring, and AJ walks out, and she says
wrong!
That both of them are winners, and now the match at SummerSlam is going to be a triple threat match between Cena, Show, and Punk for the title. And Punk is pretty much yelling at AJ when...
Show me some respect, I'm the WWE champion, yada yada yada.
And then it goes off air.
It was a bunch of bullshit. So, that's what happened with that. Moving on. To Friday Night Smackdown.
Let's see how much of this you can go offhand.
And I'm about to. Oh, that was a perfect ending right there.
Yeah.
That ended right at the Raw mark there.
Yeah.
You know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
Ouch. Wow,
This is why I told you to prepare the the music beforehand.
It takes me 5 fucking seconds. Shut up!
It takes you longer than that.
Your face takes longer than that. Ow!
You had that coming to you.
Yeah, I did.
Come on.
Nah. Do you know the enemy? Should be needed. WWE. Ha! Well, you're a bastard. Okay, so pretty much last night, the start of the show was Vince McMahon coming out to name a new general manager. The general manager he names is none other than
Booker T.
Well, can you dig that? Sucker! I don't know, can you dig it? I mean, he made a few good matches. And then we see...
He made a very good matches throughout the entire show. Alright.
So then we see Alberto Del Rio come out, and then Sheamus. They're both out there talking about...
congratulating Booker T for his new position, and more or less...
talking about how Del Rio won't freaking compete in another match until
SummerSlam.
Which Sheamus is not having, saying it's just you just won't do it because you're too scared to get your ass kicked before SummerSlam, in his exact words, or as he likes to call it, arse kick, but whatever. That's in his accent.
It's an Irishman.
Yeah,
it's gonna sound like that. Anyway.
But
anyway, so Booker T goes, okay. I'm the boss here, so here's what's gonna go down. And Del Rio and his match is gonna be against Randy Orton. Del Rio goes off on one of his little rants and whatever. So, and he gets out of the stage. And then he turns to Sheamus and he goes, "You, sir, have a match against this man here." And so enters Tensai. You can take it from here.
Okie dokie. So, well, whatever. What came next?
Alright. After that, it was a match. Was a 6-man tag team match.
Oh yeah, that was great. We saw Jericho, Ziggler, and
here were the teams: Kane, Jericho, and Christian versus The Miz, Ziggler, and Daniel Bryan. And the match was fierce, and control was going to back and forth the entire time. However, here's the thing: the heels did their distraction tactics, and what happened was Jericho was about to be attacked by a Ziggler with his Money in the Bank case. However, Jericho saw it coming, Codebreaker to Ziggler through the case, and that's when Daniel Bryan took advantage of it and did a cover for the 3 counts.
Okay, well, I'm kind of going to go off this thing right now. Sheamus versus Tensai. It was more or less... Actually, it was a pretty entertaining match. It was pretty dominant. Both of them had control for a good amount of time, but in the end, Sheamus comes out of the corner, bounces off the ropes, and hits Tensai with the frickin' bro kick. And then we saw Eve. She's kissing ass again, looking for a position. And it was funny, because Booker T goes, well, I don't have any positions right now, but when one opens, I'll tell you about it. Well, Teddy Long comes walking in at the same time. And she goes, and Teddy goes, well, I'm new to this job, and I don't know what I'm doing exactly, so...
Not Teddy, Booker T.
Wow. Yeah. So he says to Teddy. That's what he says to Teddy. And Teddy goes, well, I wish you luck. And he goes, how about I make you my senior advisor? And Eve's standing right there. And Booker T turns around and goes, oh, you're still there? And pretty much Eve's pissed, and Teddy and Booker are happy. You're next.
Okay. Antonio Cesaro versus Santino Marella. It starts off with Cesaro saying hello to the fans in 5 different languages. Personally, I just see this as pointless, and he's just taking up screen time. Whatever. So the match goes, and it seemed that Santino had a pretty strong lead, but then he makes a mistake, and Cesaro pretty much has control from there on and wins the match. And this is pretty much leading to a possible title match for the U.S. Championship. So we will have to just keep an eye out for that.
Okay, next, the Daniel Bryan interview. It was a hype video recap of everything that happened with Daniel Bryan on Raw 1001, well, the past few months. I mean, it was a great production, and it helped highlight a story arc. And then, yeah, became a hit, Bryan's new No 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 shirt. And then he yet still comes out and says, everybody stop chanting yes. And at the end of his match thing, whatever it was, he goes up to a fan in the front row and starts going, no! And the guy's going, yes! And this is going back and forth over like 5 minutes.
To commercial break. It goes to the commercial break right in the middle of the fan and Daniel Bryan both screaming yes and no at the other's face.
I thought it was the funniest thing ever. Jinder Mahal versus Ryback. Again! Mahal pussies out at the clothesline.
And here's what happens. Instead of just running away this time, he actually grabs a mic and he hits Ryback in the head with it, causing him to lose by disqualification this time. And Ryback's pre-recorded promo, it had him explaining why he says his catchline, feed me more. It's an eat or be eaten world, and he's pretty much bringing that to the ring. Hence, feed me more.
I mean, this was far more interesting than having him squash random talent, so random local talent to say the least. And then primetime players. Dear Lord. Seeing those guys backstage and you're getting a better look at their personalities is a good thing. Where they went wrong on this is it went on too long, because the millions of dollars part, it's goofy. It just keeps you rolling your eyes and gives a terrible aftertaste to the segment. And then after the little millions of dollars shit backstage, you see Darren Young and R-Truth face off in the match.
Alright, pretty much we're seeing a repeat of Monday with Kofi and Darren, or not Darren, whatever. And we pretty much see a repeat, and once again, distraction tactics, and R-Truth loses the match. So, yeah, whatever.
Next was, well, the last thing of the night was Randy Orton versus Alberto Del Rio. The booking in the match with no build-up on a random Smackdown is questionable. There's no win-win with this one. He got, Randy Orton should get a few decent wins. Now that he's returned, I mean, he's been kicking ass. I mean, it's only 2 matches, I know, but it shouldn't be at the expense of a guy who's promised a world championship and a match in a couple weeks at SummerSlam.
Alright, here's what happens. During the match, it's going back and forth. However, Randy's about to pull out an RKO when Ricardo Rodriguez comes in. Yes. Ricardo comes in and more or less jumps on Randy. And Randy throws him off, but he also wins by disqualification. And Alberto tries to retreat, but then Sheamus appears and throws him back into the ring, and Orton instantly RKOs him at the very moment.
Well, before that RKO, this was what happened. What had happened. It was Del Rio. He was about to put him in the arm lock, so he does that like knee drop on the arm bar for arm drop, knee drop thing. So that was supposed to set him up for the arm bar, but that never happened because Orton reversed something and pushed him into the ring. Well, Del Rio's in the ring post, and he was going to the top turnbuckle, and Orton just drop kicks him off the thing and out of the ring. Well, Sheamus comes out, throws him back into the ring like he said, and sets up the RKO. I mean, this is just like lazy mirror booking, but in the end, it was okay, but it could have been better. That's my thing for the week. We know Karma's been released from the WWE, all that good stuff, and somebody's coming back next week, and I'm going to tell you who it is right now. Well, he's returning from injury next week. Wade Barrett!
Okay. Yeah.
He's been out since February.
Yeah, he could. Yeah, this could throw in a wrench in Randy Orton's plans if Wade Barrett comes booking after him. So we don't know what exactly is going to happen, but one thing that we do know for certain is that Wade Barrett's gonna be a interesting influence on the show.
He's pretty much, it's being rumored that he's in line for a monster push before getting injured. He's gonna work on both shows and tour with the Smackdown brand. And he's got a new look apparently, and he's sporting a thick beard when he signed autographs at FCW last week. And I think that pretty much wraps it up for this week. Other than that, we will see you next weekend. Have a great one, and take it